It popped out of nowhere? What? That's crazy. Are you going to like these new homes?
I think it was a noise.
Like it has like a wall, like you just got like there, like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, that was nice, but it hit.
Are you on mute? Oh.
Nobody's on mute here. Be careful what you say.
Wow. Thank you.
No, now I'm off mute, but I'm going back on mute. Thanks.
No, because I'm always searching for different things and
Yeah.
different information.
Yeah.
That's why I go more on the real part.
Wow. I know. I'm nice. Thank you.
Good evening to everyone that just came in. I'm anticipating us to be starting shortly, so just be patient. And thank you again for attending.
There was no problem. This was somewhere that way. I think face and don't understand work.
Hi to you. I'm good, I'm good.
Okay, sure.
Chad, you can wait 5 minutes for it.
I had a lovely time. Very well.
Good reception.
I was with August, VP, the other speakers, the other presenters, lovely chats, folks that want to follow up with us, so it was a real compliment.
Oh, good.
But I was especially particular to see my practice.
Oh, yes.
Having sidebar conversations with them, saying we can plug in, and I know some of them are, so. I
Great.
Testing.
I didn't realize you were except for Joanne, when I was even in his office, I mentioned, and they said, oh, you know what, Dad, invite.
Good evening, everyone.
And then I sent it to.
Thank you all for coming out this evening to join us for our Community Action Board meeting. We appreciate the time, the effort, and the care and compassion that you all have to do the right thing. So thank you very much. We'll begin with asking Grace to do the roll call. Grace?
Good evening, everyone. Okay. For Honorable Adrian Adams, Tyrell Hankerson, or Lynette Shelburne Barfield? No. For Honorable Eric Adams, Valerie Vasquez, or Christian Williams? Okay. Amber Adler? Okay. Yeah, here. Dr. Christopher Wimmer or Shyla Ross? Reverend Ruben Cruz? Gregory Hambrick? Gregory here? So far? Okay, he's here. What did I just say that? Here. For Honorable Vanessa Gibson, Nelson Palacios, or Angel Gout? No. Oh, Melissa Del Valle Ortiz? No? Anything next to it, so. Oh, okay, sorry, my bad. Honorable Brian Cunningham. Okay. For Honorable Vito J. Fasella, Nicholas Thompson, or Tiffany Arguello Carson. For Honorable Brad Lander, Stephanie Campanha Wheaton, or Joshua Pacheco. For Honorable Mark Levine, Marielle Ali. And I'm here. I am, Grace Lavaglio, present. I can't see the name. Hold on. Oh. Honorable Christopher Marte. Gideon Dunkley. I did, Paul, what's that? Mari Moss. Joseph Pierre. Clevis Pena. Is that right, Clevis or Clevis? Clevis, okay. Diletta Pina, Pina. I remember last time you corrected me. For Honorable Roxanne Prasad, Alex Cuevas, or Christine Delius. For Honorable Antonio Reynoso, Donovan Swanson. Okay. Never mind. Okay. For Honorable Donovan Richards, Susan's here. That's you. She's here. Present. Jackie Rowe Adams. Okay. Here. Okay. Chad Y. Boyer. Chad?
Yes, I'm on Zoom.
Okay.
Could you see me? Could you see me now?
We see you now. Big and beautiful there. Chad Y. Royer?
Royer, present. Good evening, everyone.
Okay. For Honorable Althea Stevens, Lamont, Carolina, or Tyreek Israel? No? It doesn't say. Christopher Toomer. For Honorable Sandra Ung, Shane Miller, or Sheen Wu. Abby Rubin Pope or Faith Behum. Nora Moran or Kate Connolly. Samantha Moyle. Okay, oops, that's wrong. Okay, that's it, right? That's wrong. Where? I didn't get to the W's yet, right? No, there's no Walters. Elizabeth Kennedy. For Honorable Jumani Williams, Elizabeth Kennedy? No. And Hannah Zarzar. Okay, so who did I miss that's not here? Where do you see Walters? No. No, it's not here. You want me to write it there? Linda Walters? Okay, let me just put her name there. Okay, let's see, now that's that. Thank you.
We have quorum. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Great job. Moving along, board correspondence, we're going to recognize the election of Mr. Chad Royer as the representative for Region 4, NDA rank 7 and 8. Motion to accept Mr. Royer as
So moved.
seconded by Gideon, seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays, anyone abstaining? So moved. Welcome aboard. Mr. Royer, if you would like to address the board, it would be a pleasure to hear from you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Chad Royer. I was a former chair of NAB 8 and former vice chair, and I'm honored and privileged to be among this group of wonderful people. And I just want to shout out two quick names. Dejena Pina, who once spoke to me and said, Chad, you might want to take part in this organization. I know you do good work in the community. Give them a try. Several years later, working with Anita, we've done some great things, and fast forward, here we are. Grateful, I'm here to learn, I'm here to participate. Probably have more questions that I can think of right now, but I just want to thank everyone. And I also want to make this disclaimer that I am here today by Zoom. I am recovering from a cancer diagnosis with the intention to beat it, and I am on the mends, and I hope to be ready in full force within the upcoming months. I thank everyone. This is the part where I get speechless. So I'll just end it right here. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Welcome aboard. On behalf of everyone here, we wish you a complete, speedy recovery. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You all have a copy of the calendar of meetings for fiscal year 2026. I'll entertain a motion to accept the calendar for fiscal year 2026. Okay.
I move the motion,
I know, but they didn't get the calendars. It was in the email. There you have it. You have an email? Okay, good. So Gideon was the first on the motion already. So I need a second. Linda, thank you for the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Anyone abstaining? So moved. Thank you. You also, in the packet or in your emails, you should have been able to review the minutes for the previous meeting, which took place on April 24th. We'll now entertain a motion to accept the minutes of that board meeting. Motion seconded by? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone abstaining or any nays? So moved. Thank you. Deputy Chief of Staff Anthony Eng will present the DYCD strategic priorities. Pleasure to have Anthony present to us.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's great to be with all of you, and as I said to Mike and Artis and Joanna, some of my colleagues here at DYCD, I do recall these meetings because there was a time when I was in your shoes and sitting in the chairs where you are. Over 20 plus years ago, I did work for a place called United Neighborhood Houses, and I was one of the reps for there. And I see Kate here, who's with UNH, continuing that legacy of UNH being at these meetings. So I do recall these meetings, and I see Greg, it's been a while, and Chair, good to see you. Good to be with all of you, and I'm excited to present to all of you DYCD's 2025 strategic priorities, and to talk a bit about how we came up with it, and to walk you through this. Thanks, Anita. So, we created these priorities over the course of a few months, working with across the agency, the leadership of the agency, the different program divisions, the administrative units, the commissioner as well. And these priorities are focused on the calendar year 2025. And we have it broken up between what we're calling program priorities. We have 4 of those. And then operational priorities, which we have 10. So I'll walk you through them. Now, there is a lot of text on these slides. I'm not going to read everything. As I'm going through it, you'll see some of the goals attached to each priority. And when I go through the presentation, I'm happy to answer any questions afterwards. Okay. So in terms of how we organize the work. As I mentioned, we have 14 priorities in total, and with each priority, there are goals. And in the ensuing slides, you'll see the priorities and the goals. And then from the goals stem milestones, which you can really think of as initiatives, really details about how we do the work to achieve the goals. So, in summary, what you should know is we have, 14 strategic priorities. Attached to those 14 priorities, there are 52 goals, and attached to those goals, there's 137 milestones. Be a lot to go through that tonight, but just know and that the milestones speak to the specifics about how we achieve the goals. But I think what's most important for this body this evening is to understand the priorities and the goals, because I understand that you all will be voting on these this evening. So let me take you all through it. So we'll cover the program priorities first. So youth services, right? Clearly, all these priorities speaks about mission and how we fulfill our mission. And, when you look at our youth services and the key things that we're focused on in terms of our goals, you'll see a lot of things that are very familiar to you. And when you go through these slides, what you see in yellow is the strategic priority, and then what's in white are the goals attached to that, right? Like I said, I'm not going to read every one, but you'll see them. I'll mention a few big ones. Definitely, since summer is around the corner, Summer Rising, we're aiming to do a 4th year in a row of serving 110,000 young people through Summer Rising. Another big thing for this agency this year is in the budget, we got additional funding for runaway homeless youth beds, so that's huge. A lot of big things. This will be the 20th year of Compass, our after-school system, and the 15th year of Cornerstone, our community centers. So we're planning some celebrations for that this year, and hopefully we can maybe have folks come back and talk more about that later this year. Another big thing, I'm sure that maybe you've heard, our Compass concept paper has been released. The last time we did a procurement for this was over a decade ago, and the concept paper, it comes on the heels of the mayor making an announcement to invest additional funding for another 20,000 seats in our K-8 after-school program. So these are some key goals we're working on this year, and to fulfill our priority around youth services. Youth workforce development. Similarly, this will be the 4th summer in a row that we'll be serving 100,000 young people in SYP. And again, these are the key investments that the mayor has made on this administration, and we're very proud to continue to implement them. The workforce team has been very busy. They launched a new employment program called CRED, Community Resources for Employment and Development. And this is new for us because it's serving justice-impacted individuals ages 18 to 40. Our employment programs are tended to be for youth and young adults, and not even so much training for this age population. So this is a big deal for us. So it's a new program that's just launched. And as you can tell, there's a range of other things that the youth workforce team will be focused on this year. Community development, Mike's area. Big news for Mike's team is additional investment in the fatherhood programs. There's been a lot of activity in this space over the past few months. There was a nice convening up at John Jay a few months ago. There's a lot of work we're doing internally to think about how to support fathers in our programs, right? And I know this has been a long time coming, so the mayor made an investment here to double the number of fathers that could be served, and I believe that we'll be making awards soon, right, Mike? Yeah. So, as you know, last year we issued a literacy RFP. There are some additional competitions. We have to make some awards there because programs weren't awarded in every community. We wanted to have some. So there's some work that Mike's team is doing on that. And, I know on here there's a mention of the immigrant services RFP, but the contracts in that area have been extended. And I think the decision on when the next RFP will come out will be forthcoming. But in the meantime, we've extended contracts there. Public safety program priorities. As you all know, a big thing under this administration is that the crisis management programs have come over here to DYCD, and they've been here now for a few years, but the work to continue to integrate those programs, with our other programs and how to make those connections continues. That work continues. The big thing here that also happened recently is not only did a few years ago the crisis management programs come over here, the Gun Violence Prevention Task Force also came over recently as well. That used to be housed in the mayor's office, but they have come over here as well. And We think that's great because that allows for additional integration of public safety work that we're doing here, that's been happening in the city. And that team has been taking on the work of the summer safety plan and some of the neighborhood safety councils. The summer safety plan is really just additional hours in some of our programs, namely our community centers, just to be able to engage young people in communities during the summertime. So those are our program priorities. I'm going to shift to our operational priorities. And really what these priorities speak to are things that we are focused on here that supports the delivery of our programs and services and the contractors that we work with, the providers that we work with. So one DYCD, perhaps you've heard this mentioned, this has been the commissioner's mantra, really looking at how do we continue as an agency to work collaboratively, break down silos, be tighter in our communication. And this work is ongoing, and there are things here that kind of continue to speak to how we work together, right? A big thing that the commissioner is also focused on is just quality work-life balance. We have a quality work-life committee, so there are things around that are also part of this priority that speak to that and that work. This is what I just mentioned around continuing to integrate those teams that have come over and joined us from the crisis management team, the violence prevention task force team, things that we'll continue to do to integrate.
So yes, I gotta take it, right?
Okay.
No travel.
Hi, can someone mute yourself if you're online? We're getting some background noise. Thank you.
It's me.
So, the ongoing integration of this work within the agency, and then what we mean by this is processes, evaluating these programs, because when these programs came over, we had to make sure that they had some updated indicators so that we can, when we do site visits, evaluate them, and do that in a way that aligns with how we do things here at DYCD. So that's what this means, right? Integration of these programs into how we do business here at DYCD. Timely payments to DYCD providers. I mean, this is clearly a priority for this mayor, this administration, and for us ourselves. We know how important it is to ensure that our providers are paid timely, and our team is working very hard on that and doing a lot of things to put out more advances. If people have questions, give them some service around how to answer their questions about where things are at. So, just know that this is a huge focus for our agency and this administration. The commissioner, upon joining DYCD, said, hey, listen, we got to figure out ways to bring some other funding into our agency, because our agency is mostly city tax levy funded. About 10% of our agency is federally funded. But he encouraged us to think about some other ways to access other pots of federal money, other pots of state money, philanthropic dollars. So we actually do have a team that's now set up, a grants management team that is set up to do that type of work, right? To find the philanthropic dollars, to find some other public sources of money that we don't already tap. And of course, we are monitoring all the situation that's happening on the federal level too. So, diversity, equity, inclusion. Some of the goals here are really focused on those who are disabled, right? So in terms of making sure that those who are disabled have opportunities for employment here at DYCD. Also, and then also how do we support folks who have disabilities in our programming. And then we are also still committed to working with small emerging BIPOC-led groups and helping them be ready for opportunities to contract with this agency and deliver services to the city of New York. This is also another big thing the commissioner thought was important when he joined. How do we continue to market our programs, make sure New Yorkers know about all the opportunities we have, let New Yorkers know about all the good work that's happening in our programs. So, this includes things such as increasing our social media presence. So we've done some more work there. We have more followers. We've done some videos that talk more about how do you, how do RFPs work, right? Things like that. Just things that we may take for granted here as an agency internally, but wanting to communicate to New Yorkers about how we do our work. So, the increased marketing and promotion of our programs is key for the commissioner. And one thing we are working on, and we're going to figure it out, is an option for New Yorkers who are in our programs to get text messages about information about our programs, news, things like that. So that's something we're working on this year. Increasing strategic partnerships, a lot of this is focused on we've created a division of strategic partnerships when the commissioner came on board. And it's really having that team continue to work in the community, work with providers, work with groups who are maybe not DYCD providers, and how do we all support each other in service delivery and improving neighborhoods and making sure that New Yorkers get opportunities. Right? This is a new one, and this really pertains to our Cornerstone Community Centers. We have programming in about I think it's now 100 NYCHA community centers where we have programming.
You're muted.
Hello?
Please mute yourself.
Okay. Can the host would like to unmute you?
Stay muted.
No, I think the presenter became muted.
Okay, hit unmute. Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, great. So in our community centers and the NYCHA centers, we work closely with NYCHA when facility issues come up, in terms of repairs and what have you. But something we've been able to do under this administration is work with NYCHA to be clear with them around a limited scope of repairs, where we could bring in some vendors to do some repairs as a way to kind of expedite that work. Of course, anything that's still big, like behind the wall, structural, we still work with NYCHA on. But we thought it made sense that for things, if say a window had to get replaced, a door had to get replaced, some really basic plumbing issues can be addressed. If we could bring in some of our own vendors to do that, we would. So that's something that we've been working on, and it's been helpful. And like I said, we continue to work with NYCHA on just any larger facility issues. Data is always an important thing. There's been a lot of work done here at the agency to look at how we use data, how we share data. Our PPI team has created dashboards looking at different data points across the agency, from all different types of data, from enrollment to contract registration to evaluations we do with providers, just as a way to kind of glean insights from the data and use it to drive decisions. So that's what this priority is and some of the goals underneath it. And I'm almost done here. Sure.
Data, are you using any AI?
That's something that everyone is looking at, I think, in the world, right? And even us as a city agency, like how do we use AI to help us, look at data and glean information? It's something we're starting to look at, definitely. Yeah. Okay, professional development. So, definitely, right? Our human capital team wants to make sure that our staff have the skills and the resources to do their work. And there's some work that they've already done this year around surveying staff to understand needs they may have in terms of training and what have you, and whether that training can be things that we take on or find ourselves to a third party, or working with the city's Department of Citywide Administrative Services. We've also had some mentoring and leadership programs developed by our Chief Equity Inclusion Officer. So that's another way that the staff here can get some professional development, some networking, some skill building, and again, all to ensure that our staff have the the background and experience and ongoing training they need to work effectively with our providers and do the work that they do. And there you have it. So I know that was a lot, but thank you for allowing me to come today and share this with all of you. I hope that this gave you a flavor of some of our priorities and our goals that we're working on. And really, again, it's all in the service of New Yorkers and communities and the community organizations doing this work on the ground. So I do see a few questions. Do we have time for questions? Or?
Yes, I don't know how to use my raise the hand thing, so.
Okay, well,
Okay,
okay, we got you. Okay,
this is Jack. Are you calling on me, Anita?
yes.
Oh, okay, thank you. So I want to go back to the disabled, the disability. Are you connected with the Department for the Blind, for the disabled?
You mean the Mayor's Office of People with Disabilities?
Yes.
Commissioner Curry? Yes, we are connected to her and her team. I know the Commissioner and Commissioner Howard and Commissioner Curry recently were at a site visit for the Lexington School for the Deaf out in Queens. But yes, we are in communication with that office and their team, yes.
And so I asked the question because more could be done for the disabled and disability. It's a lot of stuff that when these homes, when the kids get placed, or not kids so much, because my son was in one, in these different homes, and different group homes, I feel more could be done, but I'm gonna talk about that more offline with the disabled. For some of you that know, my son died last month, and he was disabled. He was in a group home, and it was a couple of things that was not right. He didn't die because that wasn't right. He died of cancer. So that's why I asked the question, and I am going to get more involved with the disabled because I see it's a lot that can be done that's not being done, and it's like they're being ignored if somebody don't stay on top of it. So that's why I asked legally blind. I didn't hear anything about that when you made your report. That's why I asked.
Noted, and I'm sorry for your loss, but noted on your comment, and we'll take it into consideration as we continue to do work here.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
So my name is
My name is Vijeta, and I just want to commend the YCD for the social media presence that you're going to increase because it's going to make our job a lot easier when we go into the community to do the CNAs this year.
Yes.
So because people will have already heard more about the YCD, so it'll be easier for us to get them to do the survey. Thank you very much.
And actually, that was one of the goals under our data priority. I hope you saw it. If the community needs assessment. Yes. Yeah. I know that's big this year. It's like 3 years again. We're doing it again. So, yeah. Another question from the gentleman in the back.
I'm Gideon Dunkley.
Oh, hi, Gideon. How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. Good to meet you.
I don't need the mic, but I noticed under the Fatherhood Initiative, you have immigration. Given what's currently going on with ICE, so do you plan to expand that program?
Can you repeat the question?
Do you plan to expand the immigration program that you have under the Fatherhood Initiative, given the current situation going on right now with ICE?
You mean the immigrant services?
Immigrant services, yes.
Well, as I had mentioned, Mike, if you want to take this, but the immigrant services contracts were just recently extended, so those services will be ongoing. But there's no funding we have at this time to expand that service.
Thank you.
We have a question. Alex, if you want to mute yourself from Senator.
Hello everyone, my name is Alex, I represent State Senator Purcell's office. I just have two quick questions regarding the state funding comment. I know you said you want to push more initiatives to receive more funding from the state, how much are you guys expecting to receive? How much are you asking for?
Yeah, I don't have those details offhand. You know, something we can get back to you on in terms of what our team has been looking at in terms of what to apply for. So we could get back to you on those details.
If you can, and on top of that, my second follow-up, you mentioned, I think, 5% of the funding or somewhere around there comes from the state, correct? Or did
I mentioned that in terms of DYCD's budget, there's about 10% that's federal. Most of my budget is CTL. In terms of how much is state, I mean, we do get some federal money that passes through the state, but it's federal in origin. So, I mean, we do get some state money for youth services, I believe.
Right, so I was gonna ask, that 10%, is that being calculated from what we give you directly, or is it also encompassing what we give the city to who also then spends specifically for education?
We have some of our budget folks in the room, so.
2% funding state is funding.
Okay, so what Artis is telling us from our budget team is that 2% of DYC's budget comes from the state, and the 10%
It's federal.
is federal. Yeah, yeah. Do you want to weigh in, Sarah? Okay.
Sure, thank you. And we definitely want to thank Senator Persaud, who's been a really big advocate for GYCD, GYCD's funding. So we do work, frequently. Our main sources of state funding come through the Bureau of Youth Development at OCFS. So that is the Youth Development Program, which we use to fund Compass After School, Runaway and Homeless Youth Programs, and in more recent years, it's funding for some of the sports and education and neighborhood youth team sports. And we also, so I think where sometimes the numbers get a little confusing about what's state and what's federal is that we do receive an allocation for the Summer Youth Employment Program that comes from the state, but it is federal funding. It's within the state's discretion to decide how to use it. It's federal TANF funds. They choose to use it for SYEP throughout the state.
Okay, yes, that's more clear. Thank you so much. And yes, Senator Persaud is a very big proponent. I just want to make sure I report this accurately to her. So, she knows what to advocate for.
She is, yeah, and we will definitely be in touch because we think she's a really, really great advocate for us. I think what Anthony was talking about is the sort of idea of expanding into discretionary grants, new types of funding, things that might be competitive to enhance what we're already receiving. And one program that we're really interested in upcoming that the state just funded is a capital grant for community centers. That's brand new funding, so that's something we're really interested in learning more about. And so I think, as part of this strategic priority, the idea is not just to look at our traditional funding sources and the formula grants that we've been getting all along and that are already written into law, but to look at new opportunities for state, federal, and private funding.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Yeah, I have a few questions. One is, and I know it's too much to go through in general, but I was curious about some of the milestones associated with the timely payments to DYCD providers goal.
Yeah, so an example of that is there's work that we're doing with City Hall and with MOX, and there's also contract services. There's a timely registration initiative. So that's the milestone underneath that goal, right?
Yeah.
So that's something we're continuing to work with City Hall on, with MOX, Dr. Premier's office on. So that's an example of that.
At some point, will the milestones, all the goals and milestones be made public or accessible to the CAB?
The milestones are really more internal because also the milestones also reflect a breakout of which division and unit is doing what. So that's really more like an internal document. I think, as I mentioned earlier, the most important thing for the CAB to understand and see is the overall priorities and the goals, right? The milestones are really more just internal.
Okay. And then around increased access to those with disabilities. I'm curious if that's being taken into consideration with the new Compass RFP that'll be released later in the year, presumably. I guess for context, I'm asking because there is students with disabilities historically have had a harder time accessing after-school programs. Just part of that is busing, which is out of all of our control, unfortunately, but also, additional services or trained staff that are more equipped to handle students with physical disabilities or those who are neurodivergent. And so I'm wondering if that's being taken into consideration in that RFP.
It's definitely something that our team is focused on in looking at, and we definitely want to hear input from folks like you and others in the concept paper about that. But yes, it is something that our team is looking at, and there are youth and students with disabilities who are being served in our programs right now. The question I think you're getting at, and I think our team is getting at, is what else can we still do to get them the opportunities that they need, right?
Yeah.
But they are being served right now. It's just, this is an ongoing conversation of just what else might they need. So
Right, yeah. I think it's they're served by some programs and then some don't have
Yeah.
the ability to serve the students in that school, and so then they're, yeah.
And I think there's also, needing to think about, what are some resources that the public school system has that
Yeah.
we can access, or that these students have access to as well, right? So there's that piece too. So yes.
And then, sorry, one more question. Is it okay?
One more quick.
One more.
Because we have a lot to.
Very quick.
have a lot to cover.
I was just curious to hear a little bit more about the Fed's future piece.
Fed's future. So that's something that, no, I was just thinking, because I'm just trying to recollect in my mind how the origination of that. I think really what that is the commissioner saying that, we have these federal pots of money that we get, and what else can we be doing to connect with federal elected officials, just about, the work that's happening on the ground, right? And I think here, namely in particular, it's WIOA and CSBG. And, it's like, there's a lot of good work being done in these programs and these funding streams. And I think we know that, for quite some time, even before the current environment, the funding in both those pots of money has been relatively flat, right? So if we do some more work to engage with our House reps and even senators around the good work that's happening, might that also be a way to have them push for increases, support increases, and do that work? So that's kind of like a communications advocacy strategy in some ways. So that, and I think given the current environment, that is even more salient, right? So.
Thank you.
One more question. Just one. Just one. Yeah.
Okay.
And then we have to move on because we have a bigger program here.
Okay.
So Chad, go ahead.
Yes, hi, yeah, sorry, my raise hand function doesn't work on my platform for some reason, but it was mentioned that DYCD is looking to add text messaging as a way of engagement to the community members. Do we have a timeline when that could be implemented?
Yeah.
And I'm asking because when Neighborhood Advisory Board, turn that down, please. When the Neighborhood Advisory Board does their outside events, it's an opportunity for them to put their number if they want to get notifications outside of the email. So do we have a timeline as to when that can get started?
Yeah, I don't have a timeline I can share with you at this moment. I do know that the team is looking at it, and when we have more specifics we can share, we can definitely do that.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So Anita, let's do this, because by the way, Anthony, good to see you. Anthony is from my very early days of being in DYCD, so really good to see him. That's my homie right there.
That's right.
Anita, we have a mechanism, because I'm sure there's some other questions. If there are other questions regarding this, please, let's email it to Anita so we can get the answered. In hearing about the program outcomes and operational guidelines, Anthony, when I think about a lot of what's been discussed in the last couple of years with the CAB meetings, I think you encapsulated a lot of stuff that everybody here is concerned about. So this is great work. That's a great roadmap, and we appreciate you sharing. I know we have to vote on this, but this was a very good presentation, so we appreciate it.
Before we entertain a motion to accept,
So move.
before we entertain a motion, Jackie, actually, on behalf of the board, we are deeply sorry for your loss. We offer you our most sincere and heartfelt condolences. May God bless you and your family.
Thank you, thank you.
We'll now entertain a motion to accept the DYCD strategic priorities. Motion to accept.
So move.
We'll consider that an accept. Seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Anyone abstaining? So moved. We'll now ask Artis Sanmugan, who's the Senior Budget Director for Community Development and Grant Management, to present her report. We'll take a few short questions, and after that, if anybody has further questions, please email it to Anita, and within a couple of days, you will get responses on your questions. Thank you.
So I had
Hi.
introduced Joanna last time when we were here.
I got it.
So, all right.
Okay, so we got Joanna here as a pinch hitter.
I'm actually not Artis Sanmugan. I am Joanna Clinton, and I'm the new director of the GMR team at DYCD. I'm actually one of the recipients of the internal professional development program, so yay to that. All right, so I'll give a brief summary of where we are with the budget and changes that we've seen between the last meeting and today. So the city fiscal year, let me just make sure that you can follow along. There we go. So city fiscal year 25, the current budget stands at approximately $35 million. 81% of that budget is allocated to program contracts to the tune of about $28 million. 6% goes to other than contractual services, and then the remaining percentage, which is about 14%, goes towards personnel services. To date, we have a total of about $7 million, $7.8 million invoiced, and approximately $16 million in disbursements. The difference between the disbursements and invoices are advances that DYCD makes to providers. So for those of you who are new, a provider submits prior to a provider submitting invoice, DYCD disperses advances to the tune of about 25% of their 30% of their contract value, and then in the subsequent months, providers submit invoices based on whatever expenses that they may have incurred. After that, so if we scroll down to the bottom, I just want to highlight 3 of the top program areas. Neighborhood Development Group, there are about 89 awards there, and they have received about 50% of their budget in payments for adult literacy. They've received about 32% of their budgets in payments, and for immigration, 43% of their budgets in payments. And last but not least, compared to the last meeting that we had, we've seen an increase in expenses from the providers. 35%, it's up to $7.8 1.8 million, and payments, a 23% increase to providers. And that is it. Any questions for me? Sure.
What's causing the increase? Is it due to inflation or is it due to something else?
Increase in what exactly?
Instead of expenses increase.
Oh, expenses as in they submit expenses to us, so then we just record those expenses, so it's just a matter of them submitting more invoices.
So that's a matter of timing.
Yes, it's a matter of timing. So as months go on, expenses will increase based on what the providers submit to us.
But nothing else has increased, like, you know,
No.
OT, PS, or PS, or anything like that?
We didn't do a deep dive to see where the expenses land, but in general, they submit additional expenses as the months go on.
I think you mentioned about 50% has been dispersed. I'm curious how that compares to previous fiscal years. That might be a bigger question.
That is a bigger question that I'll have to get back to you on. Anybody else? No? All right, awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that report. Excellent. Much appreciated. We'll entertain a motion to accept the financial program quarterly report. Motion to accept. Gideon, seconded by? Second by Greg. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any nays? Anyone abstaining? So moved. Gives me great pleasure to ask our esteemed Deputy Commissioner for Community Development, Mike Bobbitt, to present the Commissioner's report.
Thank you, Chair. Don't applaud till the end, you don't know what I'm gonna say. No, I'm kidding, it's good news. I know everyone's enjoying the meeting, and I also know everyone wants to make sure we stay on time, so I'll strive to be brief. In that regard, I'm helped out by Anthony Yang, whose presentation was very robust, and I was like crossing things out in the Commissioner's report because he was covering good stuff, so I could focus on a few things. As was referenced by Anthony, I will remind DYC is gearing up to conduct the 2025 needs assessment. 3 years went by quickly, didn't it?
Seems like yesterday.
It seems like yesterday. I understand that under the leadership of Commissioner Howard, this is going to be another illustration of one DYCD. So while the needs assessment is materially important to CD and will inform the priorities for the next NDA RFP, it's also all hands on deck. So every division is involved. We have centralized this process, so now the planning program integration evaluation team is actually leading the community needs assessment and having regular meetings with our comms department as well as InterGov, as well as my division, as well as strategic partnerships. And the next meeting will be focused on youth services and youth workforce again, because the summer is very big for them, but that also means they come in contact with a lot of New Yorkers all summer, and we're open for business. So training for NAB members will be held next week on June 16 and 18. Interested CAB members are welcome to attend a training. Please see Karen at the table outside. She'll send you the details. Soon, probably next week actually, we'll have an online link to take the survey online, and we invite CAB members to help by posting and forwarding across your larger networks over the summer and reminding New Yorkers, youth, adults, and older adults to participate. And I appreciate your comment. We are increasing our social media presence, so please like, and I don't know if people still tweet or X, but you use all the other things to help spread the word. And Anita and her team will follow probably via email between now and the next meeting and keep you apprised about the public hearings as well. We will have 41 public hearings. We hope to dramatically exceed our results from the last CNA, which remember we probably told you 30,000 surveys were collected last time, so we're trying to just blow well past that, and that will happen with your help. A few special events that have been held. There was an NAB appreciation dinner on May 8th at Trinity Wall Street Commons. Over 150 NAB members attended and heard from Commissioner Howard, Councilmember Althea Stevens, Bronx 16th District, and the new Chief Executive Officer and Queens native, Tim Nichols from the New York State Community Action Association, who was also accompanied by his staff, Heidi Barcombe. Good time was had by all. NAB members who had come to the end of their terms received awards for all their hard efforts. CAB member Amber Adler was recognized as an ambassador at the last DYCD Community Moms and Dads event on May 22nd, which was also held at Trinity Wall Street Commons. We've spoken many times about spring and health, so I wanted to let you know there have been over 42 Spring into Health events have already taken place, with about 6,000 attendees and 500 vendors sharing physical health and well-being, mental health and well-being information across the city. There are still a few signature events to be held. So I sent the flyers to Anita, she can circulate. There's a men's mental health resource event in the Bronx with Borough President Vanessa Gibson on June 24th. And at the Forestdale campus in Queens, there's a fatherhood graduation and a Spring into Health men's mental health resource event on June 28th. So you have those flyers, please help us spread the word. Anthony spoke about the mayor's investment in fatherhood. I touched on that a little bit in the prior meeting. And so I'll skip some of the stuff that has happened. You know, we're promoting, but I did want to let you know, on top of how we would typically have a Father's Day event day before Father's Day, and that would be our annual celebration. We are doing that, so we'll be with the New York Mets again on Saturday. But we're also co-hosting events that are open to the public on Father's Day. So this is a new one for DYCD. DYCD and the Mayor's Young Men's Initiative will co-host a Dad's March in Fort Greene Park. So that'll be Sunday at 10 a.m. And at 1:30 p.m. at Judson Church in Greenwich Village, we will host a film screening and discussion of the acclaimed author, poet, and activist Kevin Powell's new film, When We Free the World. And so that's going to actually be an amazing discussion about manhood and fatherhood. We'll circulate those flyers too. They're open to the public. Please circulate the information widely. On June 18th, New York State Department of State will hold a public hearing concerning their administration of and priorities for the statewide CSBG portfolio. We usually testify. Sarah and team are working with our team to prepare testimony. So you know, it's currently on my schedule to attend and to present testimony. And in the interest of time, I'll wrap two things. One is DYC's representative regarding these sorts of matters. I'm pleased to report last week the New York State Community Action Association voted for me on a slate to serve for another 3-year term as a board member. So, hey, and thank you. And then this past January, I didn't mention this before, but this past January, the New York State Department of State has its own CSBG advisory board, which I guess is sort of the corollary to this body that oversees state CSBG. And they voted me chair in January. So today I served as the chair of that advisory board, and I ran that meeting. So I have a lot of empathy for what Ichi goes through at these meetings, right? That formally concludes my report, but I want to say two things outside of my formal remarks. One is I was thinking about you this morning, and I'm not telling this body to do this, but we didn't reach quorum today. We were one member short of quorum, and the council members are very exercised about this. And we talked with the Department of State. We said, as board members, what can we do? And so we have decided that the Department of State is going to share the attendance record to the council members, and we're going to reach out directly to the folks that haven't been going to me. So I'm not telling y'all to do that. I'm just letting you know that's what we discussed that we're going to do this morning. So that was one item, and the other item is I just want to advise we're trying to manage time because there has been a lot of activity at Foley Square, right, after work. And we want to make sure that, not that there will be any issues, but we want to make sure that everyone is able to leave safely. I left work about 6:30 the other day. I didn't have a problem, but just in the interest of making sure we're managing time to make sure we leave before dark, right? You know what I'm saying? Okay. That concludes my report.
These are all our people.
Yeah.
There's a question from Alex from Senator Purcell's office.
Alex, please.
Unmute yourself.
Yes, thank you. Hi, I didn't have a question. I just had a very quick statement. I just wanted to also thank DYCD for also coming out to our resource fair and all the other events like our mobile office. You guys have no idea the impacts that you guys put on the community. I know you guys have an idea, but genuinely, we get constituents that call the office that say, hey, you know, I went to this event, DYCD was there, and they helped us get this program for after school, this job program. So thank you guys on behalf of the senator.
Thank you. Happy to do it. It's great to continue to part of the senator. Yes.
So picking up on Alex's lead, I want to recognize our deputy commissioner for having represented the commissioner in the DYCD at Borough President Donovan Richards' Father's Day event this past Saturday. I wasn't able to be there, but I heard it was very successful, very meaningful, and people were telling me the deputy commissioner gave a very impactful presentation remarks, so we really appreciate all of your support. We hope you'll come back over the East River sometime soon.
I would be happy to do so, and I apologize that I didn't specifically reference it, but since you mentioned it, I was actually thrilled to be there. So the Queensborough president, stalwart in his support and in our partnership, and to have this event for many things. One, it's an illustration about how with the mayor's investment, it's all hands on deck, and we're raising attention, not just on Father's Day, about fatherhood. So that was great. And also as a remark to Susan, one of the things that I've been trying to do, and my colleagues have been trying to do, is engage all of the predominantly Black Greek letter organizations. So I was really thrilled when I showed up and I saw like my own fraternity members had co-sponsored that event. They were there in force. And so as I was making remarks about fatherhood, and there are other stand-up fathers in the community, it was like, yeah, that's what I do, and that's what we all need. Like, it was just a really rich event, and I can't wait for us to continue to have more events like that. So thank you again. Is there anything else?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That was a great report, thank you. We'll now entertain a motion to accept the commissioner's report. Motion to entertain.
Motion to accept.
Marty Moss, seconded by
I'll second.
Linda. Thank you for the second. All those in favor say aye. Any nays? Anyone abstaining? So moved. Thank you. The CAB Executive Committee met on May 22nd. The meeting began at 6:18. We discussed and reviewed the full calendar for fiscal year 2026. We approved it. We discussed tonight's agenda, and that was approved as well. Then there was the review of the Governance Program and Strategic Partnership Committee reports. There was no old business or new business, and the meeting was adjourned at 6:37 p.m. I will now ask my dear colleague Greg Hambrick to present the Governance Committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. The Governance Committee met on May 21st. Meeting started at 6:15. So we discussed the low-income sector, public sector, vacancies. You see all of those vacancies on your sheet, so I won't go over them one by one. But of course, we know one of the vacancies was filled, the Region 4 NDA Bronx 7 and 8 by a gentleman, Mr. Roy A., who we voted in today. So that's the good news. Bad news is there's still a lot of vacancies. The Department of State has given us until August to fill these vacancies. Oh, September. Well, for purposes of our conversation, let's just say August, to give us a little bit of breathing room to fill these vacancies, officially September, or we will be cited. So the pressure's on to fill these vacancies, and thank you to Mike Bobbitt in terms of what he's done to convince the elected to make quorum. We have to put that same pressure on for filling these vacancies. There wasn't any old business. The new business, we just restated what the Department of State said, and the meeting was adjourned at 6:25. That's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. We'll now entertain a motion to accept the Governance Committee report. Marty Moss, you move second. All those in favor say aye. Any nays? Anyone abstaining? So moved. As Donovan Swanson is excused from tonight's meeting, Anita was gracious enough to present the Program Committee report. Anita?
Hello. And I just want Greg to know that the Governance Committee in August will be intense, because we have to talk about possibly bylaw changes and things like that. The state gave us a lot of, I want to say guidance, right? Guidance for what we need to do to work with getting quorum and getting the membership up. Okay, the program committee met on May 14th. We had our annual results-oriented management and accountability training with Mr. Cortez Stallings, who is wonderful because it's a very interactive, some of you attended, very interactive training. This goes over how the organizations that get the money for CSBG and also DYCD itself have to account for how they do the work that needs to be done to get the services to people in need. So that was the whole training, and it's always the last governance committee meeting in the fiscal year. So I just say that people who have not participated should participate next May. And and it's a longer time, it's not an hour, it's about an hour and a half. It starts, well, it's about 2 hours, actually. It starts at 6, ends at 8. So a lot of people attended. We always invite the NAB members to attend as well. So it was a good training, a good thing. And it ended, actually it ended early. It ended at 7:39 p.m. So, great, that's the report.
Thank you, Anita, for the report, much appreciated. We'll now accept the motion for the program committee report. Motion to accept, Monty Moss, seconded by. All those in favor say aye. Any nays? Anyone abstaining? So moved. Susie, if you can be gracious enough to give your report.
Almost. Thank you. Not the last word, but the next last word. Good evening, everyone. So I will give a brief summary of the Strategic Partnership Committee meeting. I believe it's in your packet. So yes, so you can read it in detail, but the Strategic Partnership Committee met on Thursday, May 15th. Our guest presenter was Connor Mealy, the Assistant General Counsel at the DYCD Office of Legal Counsel. As a DYCD contracting agency, since DYCD is a contracting agency, the Office of the Legal Counsel focuses on getting contracts out to the city controller so community-based organizations can get their funding to provide programs and services. So he talked to us about that. And he also talked about his own role as a FOIL officer. When they get requests for information, it's his role to answer those legal requests. And then we talked about the NAB membership report, kind of dovetailing with what the governance committee talks about. At that time, May 15th, the vacancies for DYCD seats were 56 seats, and for elected officials were 184 seats. There were 184 vacancies. So this is of great concern to us every time we meet, and we are working on this. We have conversations about how to address this issue, and we have some ideas that we're going to be implementing, hopefully in the months ahead. So I hope you will all come to the Strategic Partnership Committee meetings. They're on Zoom. It's really easy to get there. And we have some very productive conversations, so we would really appreciate all your input. And that's my report. Thanks.
Thank you very much. We'll now entertain a motion to accept the Strategic Partnership Committee report. Motion to accept. Second. All those in favor say aye. Any nays? Anyone abstaining? So moved. Anita, any old business? Nope. New business. Next meeting is, CAB meeting in full is September 18th, which means that we won't wait till the summer is over. So I would like to take the opportunity, first of all, to thank everybody who attended today to make sure that we achieved quorum. We know how important it is, and we know all of you have busy schedules, and yet you make it your business to be here. So thank you very, very much. You have a question?
I just want to say, yes, thank you to everybody that's here, but I want to say a special wish for those of you that are fathers, because Father's Day is this Sunday. I hope you have a wonderful day with your families and children, and enjoy the summer.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I will echo what she said and just say that we want to wish all of you a happy, healthy, enjoyable summer, to spend time with your family, with your loved ones. Be safe out there and make it all count. Well, now, before I entertain a motion to adjourn, I want to thank Anita and the staff for the outstanding job that they've done. A lot goes into making sure that this quorum, a lot goes into the presentations and everything else that they do. So thank you very much for all you do, and even the ones who decide not to join us in the room and wait from outside, we thank them as well. So thank you all for the great work you do. It is now 7:21, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting. Gideon, thank you, seconded. I assume that there is no nays and nobody abstaining, so moved. Thank you very much. Have a great evening, and we'll see you on September 18th.
Thank you. Thank you all online.
All right.